My name is Busco the Barber. I'm going to narrate this video done by Global Cuts. You can follow him at Global Cuts, and you can follow me at Busco5150 Cuts. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start off with our T outliner. We're going to put it all around the head. Now, have in mind, the way we're doing this haircut, we're going all around the head just for the simple fact that we want to show you guys how to do a quick haircut and make it flawless and know the best technique. I have a class as an instructor, barber instructor, and this video is also for my students. I need to make sure you guys write down your notes. And this is Global Cuts way of cutting hair. So as you guys noticed, we started our first guideline with our T outliner. We're using our electric shaver to know exactly where to stop, pretty much where we hit it with our T outliner. Now that being said, we had one line. Now we were creating two lines with our number 0, no clip, level open. Now we put the level all the way open, creating our third line. These lines are going to represent the tone of color of our fade. Now we have the number 1 with the level open, creating our fourth line. Now have in mind, whatever we did on the side are the same steps in the back. These are the same steps you're going to use whether you do a fade or a low fade. And this is the amount of space that you need to give yourself when it comes to fading the back or the sides. Have in mind, in different haircuts, depending if it's a fade or a low fade, is going to depend how you start with your first guideline, which is your T outliner. But obviously this is a taper because we're only fading the back and the temple sides. Okay, so once again, this routine is started off with our T outliner, then our numbers, then our 0, then our half, and our 1.5. Now we're putting a baseline on the sides. Now to play it safe and not leave any type of line anymore, because we don't want to create lines no more, you're gonna go ahead and start off with your 2.5, or number 2 with the level open. This is always gonna be a good baseline on the sides when doing comb overs, haircuts that have to do with comb overs, whether it's a fade or a taper. Now starting off with the number 2.5 is so you won't mess up, and now pretty much you're just gonna fade into the 2.5 with the level close. So yes, the sides is a 2. Now to erase our lines that we created, we always have to complement them with the next size, which is shorter, to erase that line. This is our Speedo Guard 0, which is pretty much like a 1.5. We're gonna go ahead and start with our level open and then put the level all the way close. Now by putting the level all the way close, this should help you out to take off that number 1.5 line that we created with the number 1 level open. And if for whatever reason the line is still there, just pass it with the level open using the back of the heel of the machine. So that being said, we're gonna put the level towards the middle, eliminating the half line all the way close, getting it more light. So this is not gonna eliminate the line, but what it is gonna do is gonna buff it out, so it could be easier when you erase it coming back to your half guard. Now pretty much our routine, you're seeing it 3 times. We're doing it in the back and in both of the sides. It's level open, middle, and close. We're getting it ready for the next step, which we're gonna use is gonna be our half clip, which is this one. Now we have our level open, we're gonna put it to the middle and close, but you have to understand and know what line to attack. Okay, we're not just passing it to pass. That's why we created these guidelines, so when we come back with our different sizes, we're just gonna focus on that line itself, so you know where to flick, you know where to stop. You get me? This is not the type of situation where you're just gonna fade and expect to know where to stop. That's the purpose of the guidelines, for you to know where to stop. Okay, so that's why every guideline has a different size for you to take off. This is a good routine for you guys not to get lost, because most of you guys are getting lost. The only thing that I recommend everybody right here that's watching this video, press pause in the video and try to recognize where the T outliner guide started, whether it was in the temple or in the back, whether it was a low fade or a fade. Always pay attention where the first guideline is starting, because after that, the only thing that you're learning right now is just the routine on how to fade. It's up to you knowing where to place your first guideline. That's how you create your fades how you want them to look, whether it be a mid fade or a low fade, understanding where to start off. Our last line right here is our T outliner, and we're going to erase it with our fast feed with the level open, middle, and close. This is a perfect machine to detail from T outliner to the half. Now there's always going to be a line in between the balding and the zero. This is where we're going to use our TL liner to fade it out, and for whatever reason you still have a line right there, you're going to flip your TL liner upside down, and that's going to help you eliminate the balding line, which is pretty harsh to take off. At this point we're pretty much just following up with all three sides, the back and both of the sides, and now we're gonna start outlining. Now you want to make sure you don't go too in, but you want to make sure you get it nice and sharp. And at this point you start using your corners to do the curve. When you're doing the back, like nearly towards the bottom of the neck, you could use half of the blade or the full blade. Once you get towards the ear, you start using your corners. So as you see right here, we're using the full blade. At this point we start dragging it down using the corners. What this is going to do, outlining the customer, this is going to make the haircut into a taper, and it's going to define any spots that you miss. Now the reason why we started with our 2.5 is because we're going to do clip over comb, and it's easier to do clip over comb after number 2.5. So right now we're just scoping the hair with the clip over comb. You want to make sure you place whatever bulk is coming out of the hair, place it where the comb starts in the bottom, and then tilt your comb, and then you just pretty much take everything down. It's gonna be really easy for you guys to do this because you're working to erase to a number 2.5, which is not as hard as erasing to a shorter size. So just go ahead and pay attention how we're holding the comb and how we're doing it. At this point you want to put gel on the customer because we're gonna put the part, and we want to make sure we don't cut any type of long hairs. So it's always great to put gel to separate the hairs, and you want to go ahead and take your time. You want to make sure this part looks like a part and not like a double part or anything like that. So as you can see, Global is using his thumb to secure himself, not cutting any of the long hairs. And pretty much you're just gonna go and make sure you create your first line nice and straight. Do not cut any of the long hairs. Now to make it look more sharp, you go ahead and do clip over comb at this point, because you can see anything that's sticking out at this point, and pretty much you're just perfecting the haircut right now. So yeah, like I said, to make it look more sharp, now you want to outline the bottom of it. So there's two sides, the top and the bottom, to outline. Once you outline the bottom as well, it makes it look even more sharp. Now time for the lineup. This is very important because this is the first thing the customer is going to look at as soon as he gets off the chair, his lineup. And you want to make sure you take your time, especially with customers like this. There's different type of customers that have different lineups. Some people have straight lineups, and some of them you have to make a semi smiley face type of lineup, but not push him back at the same time, bringing him naturally where he's at, nice and sharp. You want to make sure when you're doing this process, both sides are equivalent and straight, and they're both aligned exactly. You don't want to have one side that's higher than the other. But yeah, as you guys see, and at this point we're doing the lineup similar like a happy face, because you don't want to take off more excess hair from the front. Sometimes it's kind of hard to understand what type of lineup you gotta give, but that comes to reading the person's shape up in the front, how it's growing and how it is. Not everybody necessarily you have to give them a straight box lineup towards whatever lineup the customer has. Now for the shaving, we're gonna go ahead and use Easy Blade shaving gel. The reason why we're gonna use it is because we want to make sure we don't cut the customer, and we're gonna get into tight places where we need to make sure that it's lubricated and it's no type of irritation, because this is gonna help us out shave. It's a see-through shaving gel. So now that you apply the shaving gel, we're gonna go ahead and get our Easy Blade. We're gonna go ahead and put our blade right there, and it's great because the blade sticks out, so you get to see exactly what you're cutting. Go ahead and do quick little strokes to shave. Take your time and make sure you're cautious on everything that you do. By doing the small little strokes, you're gonna prevent any type of cuts. So make sure you use half of the blade or the full blade, depending on the area that you're at shaving. By outlining everything, even the lineup, is gonna make everything look real sharp, and everything's gonna start standing out even more, as you guys notice. So just go ahead and start shaving. The more you shave against the grain, especially towards the lineup, is gonna make it look even more outline. It's gonna pop out more. As you guys see right now, we're using the blade, the easy blade, shaving gel, and the blade holder. It complements with each other. As you guys notice, the blade is just gliding through and it's making everything sharp. Remember to shave with the grain. You don't necessarily have to use this technique, but if you're comfortable using this technique, instead of being in the back of the client, you go ahead and do that technique. Now you want to make sure that you put the easy blade gel everywhere where you outline when it comes to the shaving process. Now on this part right here, as you guys notice, we're shaving and we're going down first. We want to go shave with the grain, and then after that we're going to shave against the grain to prevent any type of irritation. Make sure you guys get every little hair right there so it could look nice and sharp and clean. As you guys notice, we shaved down, now we're shaving in. This is gonna make the outline pop out even more. We are about to do a dry shave for the beard. Not necessarily every customer could get a dry shave, but this customer could. The reason why we're gonna start doing the shape up first is because we're gonna apply an enhancement. Now you gotta understand, before you apply an enhancement, you gotta make sure you do your beard exactly naturally how it should be. So when the person takes off the enhancement, the beard doesn't look choppy or anything like that. This is the reason why we're showing you guys on this tutorial how to line up the beard. You want to make sure you line it up, and at the end of the day, this customer has a full beard but has patches in the beard. This is where the enhancement comes into place, and it's very important to do the outline of the beard first before the enhancement, for the simple fact that is, I mean, you're still not losing your touch on how to do somebody's beard, plus you're doing it exactly where it is, if you would have used an enhancement or not. Now enhancements are great to fill in any spots and to make sure your customer walks out of your chair looking like $1,000,000 pretty much. You're giving them a haircut that people usually don't take their time to do, and you're giving them something which is called satisfaction. They wanted a full beard, now you made it look like that. Now if you want to apply a different service which comes with the enhancement but more permanent, 4 or 5 days, you could tell the customer and then apply vegan on top of this enhancement. The vegan will go through this enhancement and it will stay on the customer for 4 or 5 days, whether the customer takes a shower or not. This is the finished product, and we're coming towards the end of this tutorial. Make sure to always style your customer's hair before he steps out of your chair, so you could give him a great service and leave him looking great. You want to go ahead and apply whatever product you're using for the hair, comb the hair, and pretty much your final result. My name is Busco the Barber. It was nice doing this tutorial with you guys, narrating. You can follow me at Busco5150 Cuts. This haircut was done by Global Cuts. Go ahead and follow Global Cuts. It was nice chatting with you guys. Peace.